Joined here by Emmett Klus. And Emmett, appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How's it been? We've been on campus now for, a couple of weeks. Has it kind of set in for you now knowing that you're back and we're kind of moving forward with everything that's been going on?
Oh yeah, I've been on campus for a while now because I moved in pretty early. So, but it's been really nice having people here. We can't exactly run together all the time, but when we can, it's a lot of fun. It's nice to have people around. Yeah.
Yeah, I see you guys out there kind of in, the pod groups, and you have to kind of go in that. So how different has it been from, when you think back to the spring and now to the fall and how you've kind of had to approach practices and everything?
Oh, it's totally different, but it's, especially with the new coaching and stuff, it's been way different, but honestly, I'm having fun with it. It's a nice challenge, trying to figure out how do we get good work done and still adhere to all the requirements and things like that. So I'm just grateful to be back because for a while there we weren't sure what it looked like and stuff, and we're still not for a lot of things, but it's nice to be back for sure.
So I think the consensus has been just nice to be here, around your teammates and be doing something. Normally we would be, in the middle of the cross-country season, and everything but, at least it's just nice to be actively doing something because there for a while, practices weren't even on the schedule. So it's probably nice to at least just be back there with your teammates at this point, right?
Yeah, that's true. For a while there, it was getting pretty lonely to run alone, and I like running alone, and you can learn a lot from it, but there's nothing like running with a team. I did a lot of running alone in high school, so when I came here and was able to just hold on the back of people and stuff like that, I got pretty comfortable with that, and for a while there I was alone again, but it's definitely nice having people again. So.
When you think back to the end, and we'll talk about your overall first year, but when you think back to the end of kind of how last year ended, how tough was it? You basically get one outdoor meet in, you're thinking you got the whole thing ahead of you, and then it's kind of shut down. So how tough was it to kind of just get one outdoor meet and not even really finish your first outdoor season?
So we're on our way back from Boise. We had a lot of talks with coach and all the athletes on the bus, people from all over the event groups and things like that, about how we underperformed, and we felt that way. And not everyone did, obviously, but a lot of us felt as if we underperformed, and we were pretty excited, obviously, heading into outdoor, and never mind the team going to indoor nationals still. But we felt like as a team we could have done a lot better, and then I didn't even get to run the outdoor meet because I was sick at the time, and watching the outdoor meet, and then, like you said, thinking I had the whole season ahead of me, it was a bummer to say the least. When, obviously I agree with, I definitely want to keep people safe, and it was definitely the best thing to do, but it was hard to hear things being shut down and indoor nationals being shut down before the meet even happened, the day before the meet. So it was a tough adjustment that we had to make really quickly. We had to grow up pretty quick from that. So.
You think back earlier on, for your first year, you got to do, cross country. Let's look back to that season. How nice was it to get, some meets under your belt there? You got to, run in the Sundowner here. You got to do the GNAC. You got to do the regionals. I mean, how nice was that for a first year to get to experience some of those, bigger meets to kind of see where you would be at and what you need to work on for the future?
It was amazing because for me, I came in with, I wouldn't say low expectations, but I didn't set any expectations on myself for how I was going to do. And so I think because of that, and that's not to my own credit, it's to the credit of my coaches and stuff. They talked me through that and just made sure not to put too much pressure on me. And so, I got to run like my first 10K in Bellingham, and then that gave me a lot of confidence as to, just starting to figure out. And I never was able to run what I would call a good cross race, but as far as my own performance, but just starting to figure out how to actually run those longer distances, coming from 5K in high school. 5K and 8K is a way different game, and especially 10K when I feel as if I didn't run that fast for 5K in high school, but in 10K coming through 5K, PRing in the middle of the race and then having to come back in that same time, it's a totally different mental game. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be able to, have those experiences, and not everyone gets those. I was super happy with that. So I can't really complain, even that the season got canceled, because I was able to do those things and go to those meets cross country.
Especially from some of your teammates, you got to learn from especially on the cross side. What was it nice to see, like Justin, who's been a model of consistency throughout his career here. He did really well at the GNAC, almost wins it. And just getting to learn from a guy like him, and also even on the women's side, Grace goes on to nationals and posts her high finish. I mean, what is it like to kind of be around those two and just see kind of how they go about training and competing?
Yeah, like I said earlier about how my high school experiences were so different. Coming in and seeing people that know more than me and that are able to perform way better than me, and I can just hop on the back of that in workouts and just in everything else we do in practice. It was a huge learning curve for me, but it was a welcome experience. And being able to watch. A lot of times I was with Phil in workouts, but like you said, with Grace, it was awesome to watch, and not only her, but the rest of that women's team that performed really well too. And watching them work out was a different experience, because just from a different perspective, watching people perform at a high level was really cool to see. So.
When you think to the indoor season, at least we got to get most of that in, especially for your end. Before the nationals got cut short, but. What was it like for you to compete in the 800, in the mile, be part of the 4x4, the DMR, especially considering here, the DMR's always been legendary here at WU. What was it like to be, around those guys, to see them work and qualify? And then also, in the 800, you got to see a lot of them again with, Derek again, setting his pace. And, you had Max in there and, Adam and Trey and Zach. So what was it like being around all those guys and just seeing them work in those events?
I never ran indoor in high school, so it was a totally different experience. The first time I went was Dempsey. I believe I went to Dempsey my first meet. A little bit shell-shocked, at that meet, but obviously I just rode off the confidence and the cool demeanor of all those guys, like I kind of did my whole year, I felt like. So even with Johnson and his confidence in those meets, but watching guys like Phil and Derek, that front DMR squad, just execute under pressure, under duress, in different scenarios too, with not even just in the DMR but in their individual races. Watching that high level competition, I feel like that has made me grow a lot. Super lucky to have those opportunities, because not everyone gets that, especially as it's really hard to get in those meets when you don't have really good times out of high school. And luckily the coaches were able to work and get me in those meets after I missed the first one even, so I was super grateful to be able to run at Dempsey and at Portland on the 4x4, like you said, was pretty fun. I think my first DMR was kind of a tough experience, because I ran way too hard and I hurt pretty bad, but just those little things are big in the development of all athletes, I think. So getting that experience is huge.
What is it for you, when it comes to the sport of cross and track, that kind of drew you in, when you were younger, and what kept you kind of going into it to try to, compete at the collegiate level?
I tried to quit at first. I started cross country in 6th grade because I knew my brother ran, that's all I knew. And it turned out he did track, but I didn't know the difference, so I did cross country, and it hurt, but for some reason I didn't quit, which surprises me, because I was a lot, different back then. And then 7th grade year, I tried to quit. I just came home after practice, and my dad actually looked at me and was like, "You can't just quit in the middle of the season." So I stuck it through that season, and for some reason I kept coming back, and then I didn't realize until, I wasn't good for a long time, and good is a loose term. I didn't compete for a long time, but then when I did, just that feeling of being able to win things, being able to compete even if I don't win, and then especially with cross country, the team aspect of helping. It's really, cross is pretty easy when you have a team, because all you have to do is do your job and just trust that your team's going to do the job. Just the team aspect of it was awesome, and that I just fell in love with that and the whole sport of running. Even since I've come here, it's been even better. I've fallen more in love with it, I'd say. So.
The last thing for you too, what made you decide to choose Western Oregon? You're a Oregon guy. What was it about WU that brought you here, and how much have you enjoyed, being here for your first year, now going into your second year?
Yeah. So my brother is here, or was here, and that and my parents went here as well, so that obviously had some influence, but not a ton. They didn't, make me come here or anything. But I remember I never thought of running in college even until about my sophomore year. My brother and I were kind of looking at times, just messing around, and I was like, I think I can run here. I don't know, and obviously I didn't know a lot about the sport, and I still don't, but I thought, man, I think I can run here actually if I do the right things and talk to the right people. And so just reaching out to Holloway and being able to talk to him. Actually, it was the old coach at the time, but because that was my junior year, I believe. But then when I actually came here to visit, talking to Holloway was amazing. I felt an instant connection with him. He was just so personable. And then obviously Johnson, brought a lot of people in, but same way with him. I just felt personable. Felt like the perfect next step for me. As soon as I found out I wanted to keep doing it, it seemed like the perfect place for it. So.
All right, Emmett. Well, we really appreciate you catching up with us today. Good to get to know more about you, and we look forward to catching up with you here soon and getting out there and practicing more. It's been nice seeing everybody on campus, so we look forward to seeing you here soon, and thanks for coming by.
Absolutely. Thank you.